So I found a sunscreen that I actually really like. It's been over a year since I've tried any chemical sunscreens because when I got diagnosed with PD, perioral dermatitis, if you have it, you may know that the safest sunscreens with that seem to be kind of mineral or hybrid. So it took a while for me to try a chemical sunscreen again, but I have one that I think is really good. I've been using it for a long while now and it has not irritated my PD at all. So I really wanted to share it. And that is the BENTON Cica Gel Sunscreen Serum. I don't know if you've heard of BENTON before. I personally haven't used many of their products, but they actually sent me this sunscreen as well as another one a long while ago, and I just never got around to trying them because of the PD. But I decided to try this one specifically. It sounded a bit more safe for my situation. And honestly, I haven't really seen anyone talking about this. I don't know if it's because it's not exactly a new sunscreen or because I don't know, but I really wanted to just bring it to your attention, especially if you have sensitive skin or maybe PD, but I'll get to that. So as I mentioned, I would class myself as having sensitive skin, mainly around the PD areas. I wouldn't say the rest of my face is sensitive. So because it was gifted, obviously disclaimer, gifted, but no obligation to say anything or post anything or do anything kind of thing. So the reason I decided to try this one specifically is because it has similar filters to a sunscreen called Clean Screen by Ultraviolet, which my skin has always gone along with really well. So because of the similar filters and because it's more of a kind of calming kind of base of a product, I thought it could be a good one to try in terms of my first chemical since I got diagnosed with PD. I will say I wish it had a pump. That's the only thing, because I really like the Clean Screen's pump system because it's really easy to just remember how many pumps you need. It has this screw top here and it is quite a kind of light, kind of creamy. It's kind of, it is quite lightweight. It's very moisturising. I'll show it on the face as well in a second. But even though it looks white here, it does actually blend out quite well. So as I said, it's very lightweight. It does look a bit worrying at first with the white cast, but even on me it does blend out. It's very moisturising. As you will see as well, I'm going to be putting it very up close to my eye, because it's not flawless in terms of eye sting. I've noticed when you first apply it, does not sting the eyes. Maybe a few hours later, if maybe your eyes water or something like that, I have noticed it can sting a little bit, but not bad at all compared to some sunscreens that feel like you're being tortured or something. Now they do recommend, it might look a bit crazy if you just do one application in one go. They do recommend to do it in 2 small goes instead of one kind of big application. But I've honestly just been doing it in one big application because I find it just blends out okay, so. Okay, so that's the application done. What do you think? I do think it looks quite glowy. I've been using so many kind of mattifying sunscreens for a while now. I'm not exactly used to it, but I will say my skin does feel nicely hydrated and moisturized throughout the day, which is nice. Because with the PD, I do get some dry patches, so it does kind of help to keep that nice and moisturized throughout the day. So yeah, I find the texture really nice. It's really kind of lightweight, but still has those kind of very moisturizing properties. As you can see, it does have a bit of a glow. I don't know what it is. It doesn't feel too much. I definitely have had SPFs that feel too glowy, make me feel like I look oily and all that kind of stuff. This one does claim to not have greasy or oily feeling to it, and I do find that to be quite true. I will say I think there's a tiny bit of white cast if, for example, there's any extra moisture involved, like if you sweat at all. I do think you see a tiny bit of some sort of whiteness developing, but again, it's really not noticeable compared to other sunscreens I've tried. On the front, it literally says, Cica and mild moisturizing calming ingredients provide deep hydration to the skin, while lightweight watery formula does not leave greasiness or white cast, providing strong protection from the external environment. SPF 50 PA++++. Also, I will say that I just applied it to my face, not on my neck at all, just so you can see the amount of or lack of white cast. So just looking at some of their claims on the website, they claim no worries of eye irritation, increased soothing effect with Cica ingredients, and instant moisturization to your skin. Certified protection, SPF 50 and PA+++++. Healthy ingredients excluding fragrances for delicate skin. That's one thing as well that I really look for if you're kind of a bit worried with trying new things with PD or generally sensitive skin. Does not have fragrance included. Artificial fragrances and naturally derived essential oils may contain allergens that could cause an allergic reaction. So basically, sensitive skin consumers wanted something without fragrance. They describe this as for people who do not like the thickness of sunscreen that is greasy or rubs off, someone who wants kind of a fresh, moisturizing, mild feel. They do claim as well that this has some kind of cooling benefits to it. I can't say that I can tell much of a cooling effect. I think maybe the tiniest bit, but if that's really what you're looking for, I'm not sure I would take this too seriously. So non-irritating for the eyes, used for sensitive skin, and they also mention it is reef safe. They show vegan, cruelty-free, dermatologically tested, and clean beauty, whatever that means. We all know clean beauty doesn't really mean anything, but so yeah, I just kind of thought the mixture of it having very similar UV filters as well as it being for sensitive skin, being cooling, being very gentle, all of that stuff, I thought I'd give it a go, and I have been really liking it. In terms of sunscreen for the face, this is all I've been using for a month or two and no problems at all. I'm honestly even sweating a bit now because it's like 32 degrees today and it's at least 30 degrees the whole week, so I'm even sweating now and I can't really see a white cast. So as you can see, the white cast issue that I was talking about earlier is really not noticeable. But yeah, as a little disclaimer, obviously if you have sensitive skin or PD, please proceed with caution as always with anything that you try. Don't just kind of, take this video as a, yeah, that's definitely going to be safe for me, because especially with PD, I've heard that it really varies from person to person. Just always proceed with caution. Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Do let me know in the comments below if you have sensitive skin or PD or anything like that, where you feel like you've really found a chemical sunscreen, or any sunscreen to be honest, that's really safe for you. I'd love to share all the opinions below so we can all kind of find a good, safe sunscreen for us. Because I really do think with sensitive skin, especially PD, it can be really limiting with how many things you feel like you can use. Obviously, if you're not flaring or if your PD is a bit more under control, kind of very slowly and very kind of gently kind of broadening that horizon really does help mentally with dealing with stuff like PD. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.